Today we're going to be talking about entitlement. When it comes to kids, diagnosing uh, entitled kids, how to know that you've raised an entitled kid.
Okay.
So let's start off with the children now, the kids. Where does this entitlement come from?
Well, I think I was chatting with you this morning and I said entitled kids, or rather self-entitled kids, are not born. They are made. So the moment your child starts to make demands and you can't say no, you have to say yes to every of their demands. Mommy, I want to watch XYZ movie. I want to watch cartoon. Yes, 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 yes. Mommy, buy me pizza, buy me ice cream. Everything is yes. Then you're unknowingly, because most people, they wonder, how did I raise this child? By that time the child is a teenager and they have become self-entitled, and it's always difficult. But you see, the major indicator or the real symptom that begins to pop up is that the child is ungrateful. The child cannot appreciate anything, and the child starts to compare always. Can't you see what my friends are wearing? Can't you see Damiloda's father? He never complains. You have raised an entitled child, and entitled children basically believe the world owes them everything, let alone their mom. So they don't just stop at their mom or their or their dad or their parents. Generally, everybody owes them something. And if I believe you owe me something, why should I be grateful for it? So they are seldom empathetic. They can't put themselves in other people's shoes. Feel what you're feeling. No. They can't be there. So, yeah, I think these are just the basic indicators, and then they end up becoming brats. The sense that they throw tantrums. Even there are men today who were raised that way. And in their homes, as married men, fathers, they still throw tantrums because it has come a long way. Nobody took time to really, help them become more empathetic and less selfish about themselves.
Okay.
And then they also end up having these narcissistic tendencies where nobody else matters apart from themselves.
Okay, just to to keep a track of what we've been talking about. So you just mentioned some of the signs that your child is entitled, which is they always expect something from everyone, from people, both you and people outside.
You owe them everything.
They find it difficult to be grateful because they think that you owe them that, and also they have the tendency to throw tantrums when they don't get what they want.
Yeah.
Are there any other signs the parents can look out for?
Well, here, we're very traditional, and courtesy is a hallmark of how we're raised. Some of them seldom greet.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Now that's could be a pointer.
Yes, they don't. They especially the ones who are only child, who actually when you waited so long before they arrived. I don't want to push that too far, but let's leave it there.
Shouldn't there be a caveat to that? Because maybe some children may not be entitled. I mean, the greeting part, maybe they were not raised in that form, or somebody wasn't always telling
there
them
are
that.
exceptions to that, but often a child who feels you owe him or her, greeting you is, why should I greet you?
Right.
I don't greet my parents. Why should I greet you in the first place?
But then again, let's look at the.
But these things are subtle. Sorry,
Okay.
they're subtle. You just see them happening until you start to engage the child.
So we when we hear the word entitlement, one would wonder that shouldn't kids, now don't get me wrong, shouldn't kids be solely dependent on their parents?
Okay.
So why would you use the word entitlement when they should depend on their parents? Whatever they want, whatever they need, they should express it by making requests
Yeah.
to their parents to get it done or to provide it for them.
You've answered your question. You should make a request. So how do you make a request? Is it a command or is it an appeal? Entitled children don't appeal for anything. They demand for it. That's one. And when they get it, they can't even show appreciation. Two, when you give it to them now, next time you say no, there's a problem. There'll be meltdown, and it's like, but I gave you this thing last time. What's happening this time? They can't take no for an answer. And that's because over time, in a bid to shelter our kids, in a bid to provide so many things, so much, give them a good life, we've pushed them to the point where they are unable to see the other side of life and know that what's that proverb again? The grass is not green everywhere.
Yes. Yeah.
So they come to your house. I'll give you I hope my friend is not listening. Nancy's mommy, when I'm eating my Indomie, there must be egg inside though.
Are you
and
serious?
sausage.
Yeah, but that's balanced diet. Now, the child has the right to balanced diet.
Wow. To demand balanced diet.
But you're supposed to. But you're supposed to ensure the child eats
So
well.
you give the child cereal, and the child tells you, "What milk is this? We don't take you know that milk now. You know that milk.
Yeah.
That's not the one we take.
We take this one.
This is the one. Do you have that one?
It's called standard.
And you're wondering, my begging for, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Do you know what you say? It's called standard. Standard what? Okay, this is how we do it in our house. Now you are in another house.
Well, yeah.
Please, whatever they give to you, take it and say
Thank you.
it's as simple as that.
All right. So, I don't know if you wanted to add.
Yeah, I wanted to add that.
Okay.
It still buttresses what I was saying, that entitled children are made. They are raised. You won't, if a child comes to your house and say, Auntie Baby, is that chicken or meat? I don't eat fish, and you're serving fish. You know that child, now I'm going to kill it. So the mother who brought the child to you, why didn't you pack his food? Now I'm going to feed the child. Come on, you should have taught your child that, look, when you go out, whatever you're given, please eat them, so long as it's not harmful.
Right. Okay, so they say it takes a community to raise a child, and you've already identified members of the community, to instill the standards you want, the morals you want in the child, to see in the child. Is there a way that an outsider can point out that a child is being entitled and not because sometimes the parents might not even be aware that the child is being entitled. So can an outsider point to a fact that, this child is being entitled?
Oh, sure. I just painted a picture. You are okay.
Now communicating that to the parents now.
You should do that.
Okay.
Let me give you another one. Oftentimes, self-entitled kids are parenting mishaps. They're just accidents that happen in the course of parenting. Most people, what they wanted to do was, I want to give my child a good life. No harm in it. I want to ensure these children live the life I never lived. You get it?
Yeah.
But you don't know where to apply the brakes, where to provide the boundaries. So you do everything, and now they are in your place. You taught your kids, when you're done eating, what do?
Take your plates to the kitchen.
Yeah.
And wash
it.
Yeah.
Very important.
So you have this child. One baby Chinwete comes visit. I'm sorry. And the guy is done. The guy walks away to the living room. I said, "Where is the remote control?" He said, "Excuse me, who left this plate here?" And you know that my children won't do this. And you call the boy's attention. I said, I don't pick plate when I finish eating. It's the house help that does it. Huh? So I'm sure you'll be looking at it. What kind of, is it backhand?
Yes.
Wow.
How do we apply this?
So, but because, like I said, these kids didn't raise themselves. Somebody has refused to do his or her job. So what do you do? Next time, when you're done eating, you pack your plate, take it to the kitchen, and wash them. All right. So let me see you do that right away.
Okay.
All right. So you are retraining the child. If depending on how your relationship with the mother or whoever, you can communicate that feedback and say, this is what I noticed. Please teach him or teach her. This is how it's done. And you say thank you after eating. Nobody tells you thank you. You just carry your car, go to play video game. I mean, who does that? So it's about how these kids are trained. And then in a house where you have 3 house helps and just 2 children, the kids
the house help outnumber the children.
On an average, 1 house help to a child.
Exactly. So how do you instill this kind of you need to go the extra mile, because I've met teenagers who have never made their room. Never. They've never laid their beds. They can't wash their clothes. And it's worse, these kids, they go to private schools where there are washing machines and you have nannies who do the washings for them. So by the time this guy is 21, he's never done serious house chores, so to speak. And worst case, you're about to send that child to the university, maybe abroad. The child starts to struggle. You go into his room, the whole place is a mess. He might even be looking for a house up while he's on campus. I don't know. But so these are the things. There are kids who, the way they talk to their driver, their domestic staff, you don't want to know. In condescending manner that you wonder who is who is modeling this? Is it that this is how the parents address the driver? Of course, usually that's the way. There are homes where the house helps you can't address her as Jane or Juma. No, you can't do that. And the house helps don't wash the children's clothes. I know of such homes. You don't lay their beds. You don't even dress their rooms. The children do all of that. The house help, they have their own assignment, and it does not extend to making the children feel like kings and queens.
Okay. All right, you're still listening to Parenting Today. We're talking about diagnosing entitled behavior in kids and how to deal with it. So we've talked about all the problems, and we're going to be preferring solutions as a parent, what you can do to, reverse that, reverse that behavior if you do discover it in your children. We'll be right back.
Wrapping things up on the conversation. My name is Baby Sasa.
My name is Rex Okiche.
And my name is Chiwata Onyema. And of course, we're talking about, diagnosing entitled behavior in kids and dealing with them. Now, we've, of course, spotted out the problems and, the issues and how to identify it. Now, it's time to talk about the solutions. And I want to paint a picture, okay? I see this happening a lot of times. When parents are with their children, probably in a public place, the child asks for something, the child is not given or denied it. Tantrums are being thrown. Everybody's attention is on this woman. She has to pacify the child. What should she do?
And she wants to stand on this hand, no.
Exactly.
And not to please the people watching.
Yeah, people are watching. They want to know, like you said, they want to know what you're going to do.
No, some also is a case of whatever you do, auntie, this child is disturbing what we're doing here.
Shut up.
Exactly.
If it's, let's say, it's a gathering and the child there's a meltdown going on, you take the child out of the place and go and resolve the matter there. Some mother, they give you the African treatment.
Yes, they are right there.
So you see the child comes back and the child is
He's
okay. But I don't subscribe to that. But you see, if you've said no to the child and the no is what has led to that tantrum, please let the no remain. Just no is no. You can take the child out. I recall in church a mother did that. The child wanted her phone and she took the child out and she said, I'm not going to give you this phone. The child cried for 1 hour, slept off. I think that was a message that was sent to that child. No child has died while crying. The message was sent. So I don't know how they got to that point where the phone became like a pacifier for the child. But whatever it is, how they got there is a problem, but I think that message was well sent that day. Should you allow your child to cry? So long as you've carried the child out, the child
let them cry and let it
can
out.
Enjoy the crime. However, like I said, let's start from home. There should be rules. When you're raising kids, there are things we call tough love. What is that? In my house, by 8, 9, my kids are in bed. We've started that. I mean, the oldest is 17. The youngest will be 12 this month. We don't do them 30. So we can't start changing the rule. By 9, everybody is asleep. It's nobody's carrying the cane around. But they saw me and my wife. That's the way we do. But we go to bed early. So you can't be awake 10 or online at 12. Like I see so many kids. I'm online sometimes, maybe trying to meet up with a deadline. And you see children who are on my contacts. You see them online. I'm wondering,
why?
1 a.m. What are you doing online? Don't you have parents? Are your parents aware that you're online? Okay, go to bed now. This is me telling the child in another home, go to bed. I mean, so you must have rules, and those rules should be able to check the emergence of an entitled teenager, because like I said, we really don't know we're raising entitled kids until they emerge, and then it is too late. Because let me give you an idea. I was working with a child who was obviously self-entitled, and this child who threw objects at their parents. That's where the child got to. Don't talk to me. I don't want that. I said, what? You're doing that? Uncle Kingsley, that's what I'm seeing. What? You can't bring me back from the US and think I'm going to be here? No way. I'm not going to stay here. I'm going back. I'm a citizen. Yeah?
I know one place that they sell koboko.
But you see, koboko for a 19-year-old, that's not.
I never really do it.
You can't do it.
Yeah.
The child is formed. For
19, yeah?
Yes. Wow. One of the things we did, we had a stroll. I asked her to accompany me to the pediatric ward. I don't want to mention the hospital, but there it's a pediatric cancer ward. I have friends who work there, so we got there, and she didn't know where I was going, and we got there, and she saw children who are undergoing chemotherapy. They've lost their hair. Some are so tired and weak. Some are playing and dancing and jumping about. So I said, do you know where this place is? She said, no. I said, this is a cancer ward. Everybody here is under 18. And some of them, they just found themselves drinking with cancer. I said, would you want to trade places with any of these kids just for a day? Those things your mom is telling you she can't afford. Would you want to exchange? By the time we left that hospital, it was a different story. We went to another place where you have children with special needs. There was a particular kid who had cerebral palsy, but the child isn't the type. She's eloquent. She speaks so well, but her motor skills were not so good. So she could. She was so articulate and intelligent. She wowed this girl. I said, that girl would do everything to be in your shoes, but here you are. You are ungrateful for what God has done for you. You look so good. You have parents who can afford to send you abroad. And here you are, talking to your mother like that. By the time we got home, she didn't talk to me for all the way back to my office. And we got to the point where I had to tell her, look, you're formed. You may not be able to understand what your parents are doing now, but when you become an adult and you have your own kids, what you're doing now, you won't take it from your kids. So why don't you? So that became like a turning point for her. It wasn't a switch,
reality check,
but it became But you see, at that point, the parents had lost it. It was now time to negotiate what you should have done when she was younger. So raising children who end up becoming self-entitled. There are things we need to be deliberate about. If you don't want your children to be entitled when they grow up, start now. Put the brakes, create the boundaries, set the rules, and then instill those values that you want to see, and then model those values. And one of them, which I think is the biggest, is empathy and gratitude. If you raise your kids on that note, they can never become self-entitled.
Okay, and on that note, that brings us to the end of the show today. We could go on and on and on. There's so many tips on how you can avoid raising entitled children. But if you discover that your child is behaving in that certain way, you have to put the brakes on a lot of things, which we've mentioned. Thank you so much, Uncle Kingsley, for sharing your thoughts with us on this topic.
Thank you so much.
All right, so Parenting Today returns next week, Wednesday at 8:30. Make sure to stay tuned. It is Way Back Wednesday right here on City 1051 FM.